The opinions expressed on the Simone Edwards Show by our guest are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of KEPXradio.com, its owner, and or the Simone Edwards Show and those affiliated with it. In no event will the Simone Edwards Show, KEPXradio.com, its owners, guests, hosts, or affiliates be liable for the information disseminated on the program, including, without limitation, any loss or damage, indirect or otherwise, arising from information presented on the show. We trust you are of legal age and will consult appropriate professionals prior to employing any opinions expressed on the show. Many of the topics discussed are personal in nature, and some people may disagree with the opinions expressed on the show. We are open to your constructive criticism and or ideas for future radio programs. Please feel free to email us at thesimoneedwardsshow@gmail.com. The opinions expressed on the Simone Edwards Show by our guest are solely the opinions of the original source who expressed them. They do not necessarily represent the opinions of KEPXradio.com, its owner, and or the Simone Edwards Show and those affiliated with it. In no event will the Simone Edwards Show, KEPXradio.com, its owners, guests, hosts, or affiliates be liable for the information disseminated on the program, including, without limitation, any loss or damage, indirect or otherwise, arising from information presented on the show. We trust you are of legal age and will consult appropriate professionals prior to employing any opinions expressed on the show. Many of the topics discussed are personal in nature, and some people may disagree with the opinions expressed on the show. We are open to your constructive criticism and or ideas for future radio programs. Please feel free to email us at thesimoneedwardsshow@gmail.com. All right, well, we want to welcome you to another installment of the Simone Edwards Show here on KEPXradio.com. We are so excited to have in studio, well, technically not in studio, via Skype. We have all the way from Sacramento, California, just a little ball of cute fierceness called Celai West and her mom on the phone. We're going to be talking about nurturing your child, nurturing their gift, and we're also going to be interviewing Celai because this girl is amazing. I had the pleasure of being in a fashion show with her. That's how I met her. And she walked the runway and made me think, oh my God, I want to be like her when I grow up. So we are excited to have her here in studio. So Celai, would you be so kind and just say hi to our studio audience?
Hi.
And she is just as cute as she sounds. And we have Mom Linda on the line. Linda, go ahead and say hi.
Hello, everyone.
So here's what's amazing about Celai. And for those of you who want to see her video, you can go to YouTube, or her videos. You can go to YouTube and check out Celai. It's Celai West. Check her out. You'll see her walk and her poses. And who you see on the runway is kind of diametrically opposed to who she is, or the image that she portrays, because on the runway, like I said, she embodies the word fierce in such a little tiny body, and definitely has the walk down. But then when you actually and then when you get to meet her, it's just like, oh my gosh, who is this little ball of cuteness? So can we get to know you a little bit, Celai? Celai, you're there?
Yes.
Can we get to know you just a little bit? Let's start with, how old are you?
7.
You're 7? When did
Yes.
when did you start modeling?
Since I was 3. All of a sudden, when me and my mom were at a skating rink, and a guy named Ed said, "Oh my goodness, I want to take pictures of you." And I said to my mom, "That guy wants to take pictures of me." And my mom laughed. And they talked, and then my mom said, "Fine, you can take pictures of her."
Wow. So do you like modeling?
Yes, I do.
You do? What's your favorite thing about modeling?
My favorite thing about modeling is everything.
Yeah?
Yes.
So describe for us what the everything is.
I like all the clothes, all the models. They're nice models. And, yeah.
Very cool. So you actually get to wear some really cool clothes. I saw you at the Juneteenth celebration in San Francisco, and you were wearing some, really cute clothing. Do you get to keep any of them?
Yes.
You do?
Yes, sometimes.
Nice. So did you get to keep the Frozen dress?
Yes.
Oh, so is Frozen one of your favorite movies?
Yes.
It is. Who's your favorite character?
Anna and Elsa.
Oh,
and Olaf.
you like all three of them?
Uh-huh.
So can I just ask you to do like a little impromptu? Can you sing Let It Go?
Yeah, not really.
Not really?
Celai, I have a 7-year-old as well, so I'm giving Simone the death stare right now. No, let it go.
So I think moms are burnt out on Let It Go, but I personally think it is a beautiful song. However, I've not heard it 13,000 times in the course of a day. So Celai, one of the things that I learned about you is that you like to color.
Yes,
You do?
Yes.
Okay, so what's one of your favorite colors?
Pink, purple, blue, and white sometimes, but it's already colored white sometimes.
I like Celai.
So I just...
Yeah, we have pretty much become fans of you overnight, Celai. We are huge fans, which, by the way, I love purple. So you get like a cyber high five for liking purple.
Well, see, I don't know if you noticed. Go ahead, Celai. What did you say?
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I don't know if you noticed, but you asked for a color, and she gave you at least 5. She is a loophole girl. I like her already.
That's right. We will not pay any attention to the peanut gallery, Celai, because my program manager is known for always giving me other than answers. So let's see. Let's find out a little bit more about you. So we know that you like Frozen. Is there another movie? Do you have any other favorite movies?
I do like some. I like princess movies.
Okay.
Sometimes.
Oh yeah.
So I like Tiana, Jasmine. Yeah, that's it. And Pocahontas, too.
Okay. So, of the 3, who's your favorite?
All 3.
All 3? Yeah, I like that. I do. I like that very much. Okay, so here's my next question for you. Do you have a favorite TV show?
Yes.
What's your favorite TV show?
I like Teen Titans Go, Steven Universe, Amazing World of Gumball, Miles from Tomorrowland, and Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
Okay, now see, I've seen Teen Titan Go. I recently was a chaperone for a teen convention, and so I got a very healthy dose of Teen Titans Go, and it's a pretty interesting show. Can you tell me what it's about?
It's about 5 people fighting criminals.
Mm-hmm.
They hang out a lot,
Uh-huh.
and I have a favorite one. Well, I only like the 2 girls, which is Starfire and Raven.
Uh-huh.
And one of the boys likes Raven, and one of the other boys likes Starfire.
Oh.
Because the one that likes Starfire thinks that they wants her to date him, but they don't date anymore. They don't date, so.
Oh, so of Starfire and Raven, who's your favorite?
Starfire and Raven.
Mm-hmm. Which one is your favorite?
Sapphire and Raven.
Yeah. Oh, you like both of them?
Yes.
Oh.
My most favorite is Raven.
Oh, yeah?
Even though she's dark and scary.
So what makes her dark and scary?
Because she has a cloak on and her face is inside of it. That's why it's like, because her face is inside of it and makes it dark. That's why they say that she's dark and scary.
Oh, I see. So what about, so now here I do have a question for you. So you have a walk that is just absolutely fierce. I mean, your walk puts grown-ups to shame. So it really does. I mean, when a 7-year-old makes you want to walk better, you know that something is happening. So where did you learn to walk like that?
I learned it from my mom and from people who teach me how to walk, like some stylists, and they teach you how to walk, and then after I keep practicing, then I get better, and then I learn it by myself.
Wow, I am so impressed. And then so when you do your walk, because you have this like little bounce that you do as you're walking, that's just kind of like, my name is Celai and I am here. When you get to the end of the runway and you do your poses, who did your mom help you to perfect your poses, or did you practice those in the mirror, or was it a little bit of both?
Well, no, I just practiced it. Well, I just figured them out myself.
You did?
Uh-huh.
I am so impressed with you. That is so awesome. So tell me, I have heard that you love your big hair, which I have to say, girl, I like your big hair too. I really do. So what is it that you love about your big hair?
I like that it's big and curly, and sometimes girls say, "Oh my goodness, I love your hair." And they want to touch it, and sometimes men want to have my hair because they're bald.
Well, you do have a great head of hair, so I can see why they would definitely want that. So my next question for you is, what is your least favorite thing about modeling? Is there anything about modeling that you're like, if I didn't have to do this, it would be okay?
Well, I like everything.
You do?
Modeling.
That is so awesome. That is so awesome. So modeling makes you very happy?
Yes.
I can tell. So you and your mom, I noticed from your Facebook page that you and your mom tend to take pictures a lot, and you tend to travel kind of around the world in your backyard. What has been your favorite costume so far?
All of them.
All of them?
Yes.
Nice. Is there any one in particular? Like your Greece one, when you went to Greece, that was so cool.
Thank you.
You are very welcome. So now let's transition just a little bit and tell me, what is your favorite subject in school?
My favorite subject in school is ELA, social studies, math, and science.
Ooh, so we're going to go into each one of those just a little bit. What's the thing that you like the most about science?
Well, I like most about science because I don't really know, but
You just like it?
yeah.
Very nice. What about math? What's your favorite thing about math?
That it gets me better at math, so like when I'm in second grade, it gets me better and better at math. So like when I learn regrouping, then I know how to do it when I'm already in second grade.
Nice. So have you learned your times tables yet?
What does that mean?
Did you know how to multiply like 2 times 2 equals 4? Have you learned that yet?
No.
No. Oh,
No,
huh?
I never learned times yet.
Okay. You are going to love that when you get there. That's going to be a blast for you. If you like math because it makes you better and better, you're going to absolutely love your times tables when you learn them. You have great learning ahead of you. And so the next thing that you mentioned was you liked a class called ELA?
Yes.
What is ELA?
ELA is like spelling, like how to spell words.
Okay. So what's your favorite word to spell? Or what's a word that you learned this year that you were like, that's a cool word?
I don't really know because they're all kind of short words, but one of them is
So let's see. Do you know how to spell bird?
Yes.
Okay, spell bird.
B-I-R-D, bird.
Very nice. I'm trying to think because you're 7, so I have to remember that. Let's see. What other words would you be learning? So that puts you in 2nd grade?
Yes, I'm about to go in 2nd grade.
Wow.
On April 19th. August 19th.
August 19th. Very nice. So what, do you have any plans for the summer?
Not yes.
You do?
Huh?
So what are you going to do this summer?
We're gonna go to Atlanta.
Uh-huh.
At July 24th.
Okay. That sounds like a lot of fun, but like outside of modeling and traveling, what are some things that you like to do for fun? I know you like to color, and I know you like shrimp, and I know you like Panda Express.
Yes.
What are some other things that you like?
I like to dribble.
That's right.
And I like to go to the beach.
Ah, you're a girl after my own heart, Celai. I love the beach. So when you go to the beach, do you make sandcastles?
No, but I try to, but not really.
Oh, okay. So we're going to take a break really quickly. And when we come back, we're going to close up with you. We're going to find out what you want to be when you grow up and where you want to go to school and any advice that you would have for girls your age. But we're going to take a break really quickly for station identification, okay?
Okay.
Okay. We'll be back in studio in just a moment with Celai West.
Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's show? Would you like to share your testimony or any constructive critiques? Would you like to know how to become a guest on The Simone Edwards Show? Well, please feel free to email us at thesimoneedwardsshow@gmail.com. We are also available on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. Be sure to follow us to receive updates regarding the show and our other ministries.
All right, we are back in studio with Celai West, a 7-year-old modeling phenom who is just incredible on the runway as she is off the runway and just completely adorable. I don't think we've smiled this much in studio. Spend a lot of time just giggling and enjoying Celai, and we hope that you're enjoying her as well. So Celai, we have a couple questions for you before we switch it over to Mom. The first one is, what do you want to be when you grow up?
I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a lawyer, an engineer, a dance teacher, and a doctor.
I love it. I absolutely love it. I think that that's amazing. And Celai, you can do anything you put your mind to. If you want to be a doctor, you can be a doctor. If you want to be a lawyer, you can be a lawyer. If you want to be an engineer, you can be an engineer. And in your part-time, you can be a dance teacher. I'm just that confident in your ability. You can do whatever you put your mind to, and you can do all of them if you want to. So what is it about being a lawyer that appeals to you?
Well, I don't really want to be a lawyer because I don't want to argue sometimes because I'm not really used to arguing that much.
Oh, okay. And what about an engineer? What about being an engineer do you like?
Because like I get to make cool stuff and make the world a better place.
Oh, I love it. And what about being a doctor do you like?
To help people from like cancer to make them feel better.
Oh, that is awesome, Celai. And what is it about? I know that you do hip hop dance, so what is it about being a dance teacher that you like?
So I can help people who don't know how to dance to be good dancers.
Oh, okay. I like that. So the one theme that I keep hearing throughout all the things that you want to do is you want to help other people.
Yes, I do.
I think that that's wonderful. So what do you like most about helping other people? Is there anything in particular that you like about helping people?
No, I just want to help them so that they can feel better, maybe.
And you know what? If you don't have all the answers right now, it is totally okay because guess what, Celai? There are adults who don't have all the answers right now. So I think that that's pretty cool. You have some pretty solid careers mapped out for you. Is there a particular college that you want to go to?
Yes, I'm choosing in between Howard and MIT.
Wow. You get an applause from us. That is awesome. So what is it? Do you know what about Howard you like?
Because my sister and brother went there for their college, and they said that place is cool. So I want to think I should go too.
Well, I think that you would make that place, you would definitely up the cool quotient if you went there. What about MIT? What is it about MIT that you like?
Because I want to be an engineer.
That makes sense to me. That is.
Did you hear the duh?
Yeah. I want to be an engineer. Where else would I go? That makes a lot. That makes a lot of sense. You know, you may want to reconsider that lawyer thing. I think there's a little tiny lawyer on the inside of you, Celai. And then I have one last question before we talk to your mom. So, do you have any advice that you would give to girls either younger than you or your age that want to get into modeling? Is there anything that you would say to them?
Well, I would just say to them, just have fun, and when you're supposed to be, like, sassy, something, just be sassy. I don't know.
That is great advice. Have fun, and when it's time to work, get to work. I think that that's just a great attitude and a great perspective for anyone, young or old, to embrace. Celai, it has been such a pleasure meeting you and chatting with you. You have such a bright future ahead of you, and we are so pleased that you are a part of the Simone Edwards Show. At this time, I would love to talk to your mom because we want to find out how she takes care of such an awesome young lady as you. So can we talk to Mom now?
Yes.
Well, thank you very much.
Hello.
Hi, Linda. How are you?
I am great. How are you?
I'm wonderful. She is, as I was telling you off air, I will gladly adopt her. So I'm just throwing my card in. I have to stand in line or take a number, but I will gladly adopt her. She is so incredibly articulate. How do you go about finding that balance between her embracing her childhood and then her kind of being in a business that, for lack of a better word, could corrupt her? How do you maintain that balance? How do you keep her level and grounded?
Well, so far it's been pretty simple. Um, she thinks that all kids do this. She doesn't feel like there's anything special about what she does. She doesn't feel any particular way about her skill. She just feels like every time she gets out there to do some modeling, to do runway, there's a bunch of other kids involved too. So some kids do soccer, some kids do modeling. So she doesn't look at it as anything special. And I think that that's what helps to keep her grounded, because as soon as she gets off the stage, she's Celai. And that's it.
That is absolutely wonderful. At what point did you realize that this was her thing? When did you kind of go, oh my God, this is what she loves, and I'm going to develop this?
I believe it was after Ed had seen us in the skating rink, and he had done her first photo shoot, and how impressed he was with her. And I had never seen a kid model before. I didn't know what to look for, what to expect. But the fact that he was a professional photographer and he saw something in her, I think that's when I first realized it.
Wow. So how did you go about getting her into the modeling business?
There is an advertisement on the radio about, you can get your kids involved with Disney, with Nickelodeon. It was a local scout. They weren't an agency. They were just a scout. We contacted them, went in for the interview, and right away they took her. They have a 100% signage policy. They don't take anyone in that wouldn't be able to sign with an agent. What we did is we signed her up for the children's commercial classes. It wouldn't cost any more than what it would cost to put your kids in ballet or gymnastics. So either they can do ballet or they can take some acting classes. What's so good about the school is every 3 to 4 weeks they would have an agent come in, and the kids would audition for them. And she got signed right away and has been modeling ever since.
Wow. That is really, really awesome.
You know, Linda, I have a question for you. I guess to piggyback off Simone's question about how you keep Celai grounded. My question is, I don't know if the audience noticed or if Simone noticed, but Celai refuses to be put in a box. And I from I think question 1, I saw that and I loved it. And I used to do child modeling as a kid. And that was one thing that I do notice is that they do box you. They put you, I guess they put you in a category, and it's hard to escape from that category. And it could be very demeaning, especially for a child. Mm-hmm. And then also just outside influences. How have you, I guess, instilled in Celai that, you don't have to be limited. You have all these options, and you don't have to just pick one. How did you instill that in her?
Actually, she kind of just is, even though she's only 7 years old, she inspires me to look beyond what's in front of you, what's there. So sometimes it's not necessarily something that I taught her, but more something that she taught me. And
so
sometimes when she
right there.
does the thing, I just feel like sometimes I'm limiting her, or I'm putting her in a box because there's just a limit to what I'm willing to do. And I believe the second that I said, I'm just going to take a step back and I'm going to get out of your way and I'm going to let God guide me. And whatever he has for you, I've decided I'm no longer going to stand in the way of that. I think that's when doors started opening for her.
Oh my God, I love it. Oh, Linda, seriously. Okay, now I want to adopt you. No, seriously, on the other end, and I don't have kids. I really don't. And so I'm speaking definitely from an outsider perspective. And one of the things that I sincerely hope when I become a parent is that I give my kids the freedom to be who they want to be and not live vicariously through them and not try to fulfill some random dream that died years ago, but here's my kid, and so I'm going to try to fulfill it through them. Listening to you talk about Celai and how she teaches you and you don't really teach her and you're getting out of her way and I'm just going to let God guide me. Oh my God, that is so refreshing to hear. And not that parents don't do that, but when you look at a profession as stereotypical as modeling, and you hear about stage moms and helicopter moms and tiger moms and all these moms, and not knocking them, because again, I'm not a parent, to hear you as an adult be so incredibly humble in your approach and say, A, I'm there to guide her. B, I'm being guided by God. And C, once I got out of her way, God just started opening doors. I think I applaud you. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Oh my God, you deserve it. You seriously, if I could make a medal and give it to you, I really would. I'm so godly impressed with you. Here's one of the things that I want to talk about, because Antonia brought up a really good point, which segues us into the next question. And that is about not putting people in a box. And one of the things that I absolutely love about her video is when she says, I love my big hair. And then, you see her playing with it. And especially for being a young African-American woman, when identity tends to be something that plagues us for such a long time, and most women don't really embrace their identities until they get older. How did this happen? How did you get to a place where she's like, this is my hair and it's big and it's wild and I love it? How did that happen?
It kind of just is what it was.
Okay.
There had been some dolls that I had seen. I've always told my children growing up, when I bought them dolls, I've only bought brown dolls, because I've always said the company liked you so much that they made a doll after you.
I love it.
So there was a little doll, and we called it the Celai doll because it had a little tutu. For a while, that's all she wore were tutus. It had the tutu, and it had the natural hair that was pulled back in a ponytail, and it was really big. Mm-hmm. And the thing I said is, this doll, they made it for you. This is you. And so it was just kind of one of those things. She's never known anything different. Her hair has always been kind of big. Mm-hmm. So there's never been a time where she said she didn't like it. But I know more, I would say, within the past year, we've kind of let go of the whole, we do the whole natural hair. We're looking for definition. Mm-hmm. We're looking for spirals. We're looking for just something instead of a big mess. Mm-hmm. And kind of moved away from that because she said one day, bigger is better. She just likes bigger hair. I have a 14-year-old daughter who happened to hate her hair. Her hair has beautiful curls all the way at the bottom of her back, but she said she didn't like it. It was too big. She just didn't like it. And Celai says, I don't know what you're talking about. My hair is bigger than yours, and I love it. She felt that. So I love it. And now my 14-year-old makes her hair big, and it's bigger than Daisy's. It's bigger than Celai's now. So she's just like, oh.
What an incredible inspiration and influence, especially at 7 years old, to be such a positive influence in her own household, on the women in her life, and to know that, should God bless her to continue in the field of modeling, to know that she will be such a good representation of a positive self-image. And I really do kind of want to route that back to you, first and foremost, giving God the credit for giving you the wisdom to give her a doll that represented her and that looked like her, so that she knew and it was ingrained, and a positive self-image was fed into her from a young age, that her skin color is okay and her hair color is okay, and that she didn't have to look like anybody but how he made her. I think that's incredible. I think, and again, once again, we just applaud you here in the studio. That I think that's so wonderful. And I want to say this, and please correct me if I'm wrong. I think that I know that you say that she teaches you so much, but I'm a firm believer that children mimic what they see. And a lot of her confidence comes from the fact that you have accepted who you are as a woman. And because you have accepted that, you've made it okay for her to accept who she is as a woman.
Absolutely.
So again,
I agree.
Again, congratulations for all that you've done. I pray that God continues to bless the both of you and to open doors, and that He'll give you both a platform for women, for single mothers or married mothers, just for Black women, to the importance of embracing who they are, so that they can pass on that blessing and that legacy to their children. Because so often we don't realize that as women, our issues and our insecurities, we pass that on to our children if we're not careful.
Exactly. And I think another thing that contributes to it, when I was growing up, I didn't even have the self-love of my color, of my hair. I think the second I got my first press and curl, the natural was kind of over with for me.
Right.
I've made a point to never straighten Celai's hair. I don't even want her to know what it looks like. It doesn't matter. It's not how your hair naturally is. We're just going to work with what it is.
Right.
But what I love about her skin is everything is brown. Every picture she colors is brown. Santa Claus was brown last year,
right.
And I was really surprised. But everyone who she draws, she colors them brown. So we're just excited about it that she has that much confidence in her skin and knows that it doesn't matter what someone else's skin color is. She loves her own.
Oh, I think that's absolutely fantastic. We are going to take a break for station identification. We'll be back in studio with Linda Ligons-West in just a moment.
Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's show? Would you like to share your testimony or any constructive critiques? Would you like to know how to become a guest on the Simone Edwards Show? Well, please feel free to email us at thesimoneedwardsshow@gmail.com. We are also available on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. Be sure to follow us to receive updates regarding the show and our other ministries.
All right, we are back here in studio with Linda Ligons-West. I got it right this time. Mother of Celai West. And so I know this is our youth and young adult spotlight show, but we wanted to have both parties on because for a 7-year-old to be so incredibly confident and so accepting of who she is, we know, just like the old saying, behind every great man is a great woman. Behind every great child is a great mother. And so we wanted to make sure that we had both, we had the yin and the yang, so to speak, represented on air. And so, Linda, one of the things that I want to touch on a little bit before we go further, you said when you were growing up that you didn't have the confidence that Celai had in kind of accepting herself for who she is. At what point did you embrace your identity?
I believe it was probably closer to middle school, which is a little sad when you think about it because I have a daughter that just graduated from middle school, and I look at that as that's a little bit older than what I would have liked to accept it. But there was a video that we had seen as a class about little Black girls that were presented with a black doll and a white doll, and they had to choose which one they thought was prettier.
Right.
They pointed to the white doll, which one they thought was dirty or ugly. And I just felt that the whole black and white issue was a little bit warped in kids' minds. And I just made a point at that time not only to change myself, but any children that I had, that's not what they wouldn't have that issue with color. I've always taught them that you don't have to have white skin, you don't have to have blue eyes to be beautiful. You can still be beautiful with your brown skin, with your curly hair.
Absolutely love it. One of the things that I really enjoy as I'm listening to you is you can tell when a person has really embraced who they are, because there isn't that anger that's there. There isn't that sense of militancy that's there. It's just a matter of, no, this is my reality, and I'm beautiful, and so are my children, and there's nothing wrong with us. And I think that's incredible. We're going to segue a little bit back into being a parent of a model. One of the things is, how do you go about promoting her? How does that work? Is that still done through the agency, or how involved are you in her modeling career?
I would say very involved. She does have an agent in San Francisco, and she does get her gigs through them a lot of times. But I would definitely say most of the time is stuff I've submitted her for. I also have an Instagram account for her where I upload her pictures, just the daily life of Celai, as well as our little themes, our little fun stuff. Just wanted to do something different. But I definitely want to stay involved. I have a little bit more control of the types of things she does, make sure they're age appropriate. This industry definitely can throw you for a loop with some stuff and the content they want them to say or do, and that's absolutely not something we do. As long as she's 7, she'll act like she's 7 and do stuff of a 7-year-old, not of a 10-year-old on of, etc. So I just want to make sure that I properly keep a handle on it so that there's nothing that's out of line that she does.
I think that's wonderful. So my next question is, it's going to be a little bit of a tightrope walk, but how do you personally navigate that line between being her mom, which is exactly what you sounded like right now, and being a stage mom, quote unquote?
Actually, I don't look at it as a tightrope. I believe my role is what it is, and whether we're on set or we're at the kitchen table, I'm mom.
Okay,
so
that's good.
Anytime that I submit her for any type of work, I make sure that the integrity of the work is up to par. My husband is practicing to become a preacher, and I have to make sure that I don't just sign up for the first thing just for the opportunity and then have her in a situation where she's using cuss words or in an environment that, is kind of questionable or that we wouldn't be proud to have her in.
Oh my gosh, seriously, I'm adopting you. I'm just letting you know right now, you have been adopted. I just love you. Yeah. I think that's so wonderful, though. And listening from this end, one is that you're exposing her to the world around her. You're still protecting her boundaries. And while expanding her horizons, and at the same time, you're letting her know, here are the guidelines for this household, and here are the things that we do and we don't do. All at the same time protecting not only your husband, but kind of your God-given identity and your purpose. How do you do it? Because I know that you have other children. Listening to Celai, she has a older brother and sister that graduated from Howard or went to Howard. I know that you have, I believe you mentioned a 14-year-old in the house. So how do you balance being a wife and a mother and helping Celai with her modeling career and taking care of the kids? Do you sleep? When do you sleep? Is it for 20 minutes or is it for an hour?
I definitely sleep.
Good.
Have a now junior at Howard and a now sophomore at Howard. They're still currently there. They're just out for the summer break, so she thinks they're done.
Oh, okay. Congratulations.
Thank you. So I was the scholar for that, making sure they did their homework, making sure everything was together. They both received full academic scholarships to Howard. Was definitely proud of them. Our 14-year-old is the basketball player. So I've done the basketball coach thing, So, of course, around here, I wear a lot of hats. Then with Celai, I'm the momager, the hairstylist, the makeup artist, all of that fun stuff. I actually love it because they're just like little, I don't know a lot of things. I just know a little bit about a lot of things.
Right.
That's it. It's enough to get by. And I think that this kind of gives me the balance. I've worked from home for the past 10 years. So I kind of one day just prayed to God, God, can you just allow me to get out of the house? And boy, did he come through.
Wow.
So Celai stuff and, my 14-year-old stuff and even the college kids, that's just allowed me to travel a little bit more, get out of the house, experience some things. But, yes, at the end of the day, we do have to incorporate all of that into, being a wife as well. So sometimes you do that with the basketball, I'll do this with the modeling. We have to split stuff up. So it is a balance.
One of the things that I hear as I'm listening to you, and I think that's so incredible, what I hear from you, Linda, is someone who absolutely loves where she is in life and is absolutely at peace and contented with where she is. That's what exudes from you. You love being a mom. You love developing your children and developing their gifts and their talents, and kind of like you are, which I believe it's how it should be. You are this conduit that God uses to help them become whoever he created them to be. And I think that that's so incredible. I really do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I just try and say, I believe I have discernment, and I've been able to see what my kids' gifts are. Right. So I just feel as it's a parent's responsibility to help your children identify what their gifts are and to help nurture those gifts. And that's exactly what it is. So it's not that I've done anything all wonderful and special. I've just helped them identify what their gifts are, hone in on it a little bit, nurture it, and then it kind of just blossoms right in front of you.
That's excellent. So here's my question for you before we go to station break. One is, for the parent who's listening, that's kind of like, wow, man, you make it sound so easy. And to the point where I want to do it too. What advice do you have for those parents, or what can you say for them when it comes to honing in on developing their child's innate abilities and innate gifts and the talents that are there? What should they look for? What should they do? How should they handle that process?
Well, I would definitely say get them involved in a couple of different things. What I think is funny sometimes is 10 kids can get out and do let's say tennis, can get out there on the tennis court, and there may only be 2 of them who completely leave the others behind. And I just feel that those are the ones that have the gift.
Right.
That doesn't mean that the other ones won't be able to learn the game and play well, but it's those ones who excel in it so easily. Those are the ones that have the gift to do it, and those are the ones that should be, you can kind of hone in on those and nurture those. So if you put your kids in a couple of different things, it may not be, and believe me, in this industry, I've seen a lot where the parents want their kid to do it, not the kid wants to do it. So when you get those same kids out on the same field and you're wondering why these other kids are excelling at it and your kid is not, it's probably because that's just something they enjoy doing, but it's not their gift. So I think it's important, instead of pushing them to do what you want them to do, to figure out exactly what their gift is. They may not enjoy modeling, or they may not enjoy sports, but they may be an exceptional musician, or they may be a book writer later. It's little things like that. You just have to kind of pay attention to some of the signs that they're going to show you, and then start honing in on those and nurturing those.
That's excellent advice. I love it. And when we come back from break, we're actually going to talk about your exit plan, because you really segued us beautifully into what I want to talk about next. And that is the exit plan. What happens when your kid starts to go, I don't want to do this anymore. And you as a parent have invested so much time and energy and money and all that other stuff. At what point do you kind of pull the plug because you realize they're no longer in it for them, they're in it for me? So we will talk about that when we get back. We'll be back in just a moment.
Do you have any questions, comments, or concerns about today's show? Would you like to share your testimony or any constructive critiques? Would you like to know how to become a guest on The Simone Edwards Show? Well, please feel free to email us at thesimoneedwardsshow@gmail.com. We are also available on Facebook, Pinterest, and Instagram. Be sure to follow us to receive updates regarding the show and our other ministries.
And we are back here in studio. I don't think I've ever been as sad as I am right now to see a show come to an end. I wish we had more time. We are here in studio with Linda Ligons-West, mother of Celai West, one of the fiercest ball of energy, fiercest little model that you'll ever see. I think she could possibly put any Victoria's Secret's angel to shame. One of the things that we want to talk about when we left off before break, we want to talk about your exit plan, because you brought up such a good point about, being really careful as a parent that you're not pushing what you want your child to do, but really letting God use you to find that gift. So do you have an exit plan in place for Celai? And if so, what would trigger that exit plan?
At this point, I don't have it all mapped out as far as what exactly is gonna happen. Again, I kind of just want to be led by God. Whatever He says, if it comes to a point where she says I'm no longer enjoying this, I don't want to do this, that will be the last day that she has to do any of this stuff. The last thing I want to do is to be like some of the other parents that I've seen in the industry and kind of force them to continue. I mean, at the end of the day, if she no longer wants to do it, when she goes to auditions, that's going to show she's not going to book anything. It's going to be a waste of my time. Mm-hmm. So that's not what I do. If she says she no longer wants to do it, that would be the last day she did it.
I think that's really great, because, as we were talking about before the break, sometimes parents can kind of become like, I've put in so much time and I've put in so much money and I've put in so much effort and you won't do this till you die. And so it's refreshing definitely to hear you say, when she no longer wants to do this, then I'm pulling the plug. So I believe that Antonia has a question for you as well.
Mm-hmm. Just to piggyback, I know, like, as a parent, I'm a mother of one, so I'm referring to you, Miss Linda, since you seem to have this in the bag. You got this down packed. I did struggle with this myself. That exit plan. My daughter was taking something, and she had been doing it from the time she was 3 years old. And around, I want to say 5 or 6, she was like, Mommy, I don't want to do this anymore. I really don't want to do this. And at that point, I did force her to keep going, because I didn't want to, I guess, condone that mentality of being able to quit something when it starts getting tough. But how can a parent recognize when the child is just quitting because it's just now, it's just now becoming a challenge, as opposed to the child just really doesn't enjoy doing this anymore?
Excellent question.
Yeah, that is a good question. It's really hard to say, and that's one of the main reasons why I try and follow what I'm instructed to do versus what I want to do. It's one of those things that sometimes when a kid doesn't want to do something because they're just like, I'm frustrated or I'm having a challenge moving to the next step, it's a little harder than I thought. But of course, all success isn't going to be within reach and isn't going to be easy. But I usually find that if you take it away from them, if it's their gift, they'll get back into it. If it's something they're just doing as a hobby, definitely I don't want to instill a quitter spirit. So if I'm signing you up for 3 months of this and you don't really like it, well, let's finish out the 3 months and I won't sign you up again. But when it comes to this whole acting business, at any day you can say, I'm done. So I think that's the only difference. If she decided she no longer wanted to act, she no longer wanted to do runway or model, okay, then this is it. But I believe that if it was her gift, that she would come back to it.
That is excellent. That is really excellent. I like the fact that you said if it's what they want to do, that they will come back to it. I really do like that. And again, being on this side, you know, and having been in the industry and was at a time on my way to being in the industry, it's so easy to see. I mean, my God, we had it played out before us with, you know, celebrity parents and Hollywood, and not casting aspersions on anyone's character. But sometimes you see the path that some of these kids end up taking. And it's almost like, were there warning signs along the way that they didn't want to do this anymore? And when did the parent become more in love with the industry and the spotlight and the glamour and the notoriety when did they fall in love with that and kind of fall out of love with their child? So to hear you say, you know, the minute she decides, I don't want to do this anymore, you're kind of like, that's the exit strategy. We're going to be done. And if it is her gift, she'll end back up in it at a later date. I think that's incredibly commendable. So again, I just, my hat goes off to you. It really does. And, I pray that God continues to bless you with wisdom and continues to give you guidance. Before we go, I just want you to speak from your heart at this point. And, you know, what advice do you have to parents who want to get their children into the modeling and acting business? What would you say to that person who's listening, who's kind of like, you know, my child is kind of a ham at home and, you know, they're always singing or dancing or doing something, and I really want to get them into this. And especially you being a believer and having faith in God and using that as your guide and saying there are certain things we're not going to do and there's certain boundaries we're not going to cross. What advice would you give to, and it's kind of twofold, what advice would you give to the parent who's fearful, and what advice would you give to the person who is saying, how do I get into this?
Okay. Well, to the parent who wants to know how to get into it, I would probably say you can directly submit to any agents in your area. You can Google the local talent agents, modeling agents, and just go to their website, look at what the submission guidelines are. 9 times out of 10, if you get the submission guidelines wrong, they won't even look at your kid's picture, because they'll say, if you can't follow these simple instructions, we don't want to work with you. So just make sure you follow the submission guidelines perfectly. But in regards to, and to the parents who want to don't pay anything to any agency. If they want your child, it's just a matter of signing paper. That's it. They're not going to say you have to pay this much amount, you have to take this class. If they're asking you to take a class and charging you, they're not an agency, they're a scout. Just know the difference between the two. Not that all scouts are bad, but a scout is a scout, an agent is an agent. In regards to the parents who are a little bit fearful, I would just say, just trust your instinct. If you see a submission that you want to submit your kid to, a lot of times you're going to do a lot of self-submissions. If it just doesn't resonate with you, it just doesn't fit well with you, just don't submit. Or even if you do submit and you receive the information for the job and they say, we're going to need your child to use these cuss words, if you go with your first instinct, if you don't feel comfortable doing it, just back out. The last thing you want to do is to say, okay, have them book your kid, then back out, because then it kind of looks bad in the industry. Just right away, if it doesn't feel right, back out at that point.
Absolutely great advice. Linda, it has been such a pleasure having you and Celai on air. Before we go, you have a thing that you started called Slayed by Celai. How did that come into existence?
Okay, so I tend to dress Celai according to her personality, which means we mix a lot of different prints, we mix different styles. We just kind of throw it out there. We'll put her in a dress shirt and throw a tank top on top with a tie. She wears bow ties. She wears just anything that's weird and out there. It's Celai. So just before Sacramento Kids Fashion Week, when we were trying to figure out the designers, the producer asked for Celai and I to team up and do a line. We're going to go into Celai's closet, pull out some of her clothes that I've already styled, and put them on the models.
Mm-hmm.
So we got about 13 or 14 models, and they walked the runway. Most of them, it was their very first time walking the runway, and they absolutely loved it. And I thought that that was the best feeling, not only for myself, but for Celai as well, to give somebody else a chance who hasn't done this before. And the thing I noticed about Celai that day is she was supposed to walk for a couple of other designers, and she gave those outfits to girls who had never walked before.
Wow.
So it wasn't about her that day. Even though her line was being showcased, at the end of the day, it wasn't about her. It was about giving somebody else the opportunity. So once again, it was another day that I learned something from her.
That is so incredible. And it really fits in with everything she had said in the beginning about, when we asked her, what do you want to be? And she picked careers that had to do with helping other people. I want to be an engineer because I want to make the world a better place. I want to be a doctor because I want to help other people. I want to be a dance teacher because I want to help people who don't know how to dance well learn how to dance well. So she's definitely a humanitarian at heart. Which is just absolutely wonderful. It really is. It's so great. Is Celai around? Can we say goodbye to her before we close out the show?
Yes.
Bye.
Oh, there you are. You've been listening the whole time?
Yes.
You have? So do you think at some point, especially knowing that we came up, you and your mom came up with a whole fashion line, at some point, do you think that maybe you'll get into fashion design?
Yes.
Well, all right. Just make sure you make clothes for adults too, okay?
Okay.
Okay, I appreciate that. All right, we've come to the end of our show. This has been such a wonderful show. We've enjoyed having Celai West and Linda Ligons-West here in studio with us. Don't be surprised if you hear from them again, or don't be surprised as we expand here at the Simone Edwards Show if you don't see a video component of Celai walking, us being there live. I'm just going to speak it into existence and trust God. But us being there live at one of the runway shows and being able to interview you on the spot. For those of you who are regular listeners to the broadcast, for some reason I'm losing the ability to speak. I don't know what's happening to me. We want to invite you to tune in next Saturday when we cover part 2 of the 10 biggest complaints about marriage. Again, that is part 2 of the 10 biggest complaints about marriage with the Love Doctors of Perfecting Love Marriage Ministries. Until then, we will see you next time. Have a wonderful rest of your afternoon. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you for listening, and we pray that you have a blessed day. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.